Bada bing, bada.
Hi. I feel like I've been stealing the thunder for the Badas lately.
Honestly, I think I've just developed this. Like, I just followed whatever lead you do.
Okay.
So
that's tragic for us.
I'm just kind of like always like, Tori will lead us there. Like, kind of like a kid who's just like, no, my mom will show me what aisle to go down in the grocery store. That's kind of how I feel.
Woof. I don't know what that means for out of touch.
I think that's how we got our brand.
True.
It's just the blind leading the blind.
That's so true. Yeah, that
like,
tracks.
It wouldn't be any better if I was leading. Like, it would be the same. It would still be the blind leading the blind. Literally. I think my prescription I shouldn't be allowed to drive at certain times.
I also am supposed to wear glasses and I don't. So literally,
I did forget that. You did used to wear glasses once upon a time, didn't you?
Sometimes I do until I lose them.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's only a matter of time, really, before I lose anything. Especially something so expensive and small.
No, my intrusive thoughts when I'm angry are like, throw your glasses. Like, that's it's like I really want to do that when I'm mad. And I have.
Oh, good. Okay.
Only once, and it was detrimental. The glasses had to be replaced. Shit. They were already hanging by a thread, but yeah. I should probably talk about that in therapy.
Get there. I mean, it's all priorities, like we only get so much time a week.
So Tori today is Ragin' Reptar. And I just want to say, like, you've been doing really good at these. Like, you're really summarizing the mood very well with this. I'm on my period. I think you're on your period too.
Yes, ma'am.
And I very much feel like a Ragin' Reptar this week.
Mm-hmm. Like, I just see myself kind of like going in and destroying like a little city made of Legos or something. Like,
yes. Did I even say Ragin' Reptars?
You did. Yeah, like twice. Yes, you did. So Amber this week is Madame Sacadix. Mm-hmm. And I just really love this one. I want to just kind of point out the spelling here because last week we talked about sending out a Sacadix to people who have wronged us in the slightest. And Riverside, which is the best program either of us have ever used in our entire lives, transcribed sack of dicks into one word, which is spelled Saccadix. And I think I might name my next child this.
Oh, for sure. Like, we've already talked about, wouldn't it be funny if we had a cat named Saccadix? As soon as I saw the transcription, I immediately took a picture of it. I sent it to everyone. Anyone and everyone got that text. And, so we were all in agreement that one of us had to be something Saccadix.
And as I am tied to the alliteration for 5 more letters or something.
Who can be too sure?
Yeah, it couldn't have been me.
Well, and it could be, you could use it next week. RS. Yeah.
No. Wait.
QRS.
QST. Oh, for some.
I feel like we already did S.
No, I definitely already did S. So have I already done R too?
And I don't even think it names it the same way anymore. Like, if you go to the studio, it started combining our names. So in there, it probably says like Madame and Ragin.
It does. Yeah. So there's really no reason to continue this except that I have signed on and I am a completionist and I can't stop something in the middle. So the train has left the station.
Yeah. She ain't no quitter.
Mama ain't raised no quitter. So, but we definitely did S already. I do not remember doing, we did do R. It was like Rolaids or some.
Rotund. Rolaids. Yeah. Girl.
Oops.
That's so on brand.
So I wonder how many, because there was another time too I realized I had gone backwards in the alphabet. So really I'm making
it probably would be over by now if we just knew the alphabet. That's okay.
You know what? I do have a Florida education, so.
That should have been on the list last week. Yeah. I do
What
have a
was the
Florida
list?
edge.
Oh,
A
stupid
funny
shit
stuff we say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So what do we have for updates this week?
We definitely did not use trifling correctly. The first time we used it last week. The second time we did. So we were doing okay there. The first time I think we used it as in like an angry, like that person was like they angered us. It's something that angered us is kind of the context we used it in instead of it being something silly. So
Got it.
And I think that was on me. I'm pretty sure. Can't 100% remember.
That
So
tracks.
yeah. So hopefully today with toiling we'll do better.
Well,
what do you think toiling means?
If I had to say, okay, so my immediate first thought when you say toiling is Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Okay.
And does that
like
ring any bells with you? Okay, so you didn't get it.
Toiling twosome? No.
I knew it. No, so what they had a movie that came out. We were probably like 5 or 6. It was when they were really young. It was a Halloween movie, and it has those words like toiling, trouble, or something
so.
is in the name. Okay, I just thought you meant like they're troublesome. Trouble.
No, toil and trouble.
I think that's
it was something like that. I hear toil, I think trouble. I don't know. Those two things seem intertwined, and I think it is because potentially that movie.
Yeah, so but originally I can't confirm. That's my like that's what I feel when I hear toiling, but what I think it actually means is like mean or angry.
Okay. I was thinking like causing like trouble, like being annoyed, like that. What a toiling thing.
I feel like that's probably what it is. I don't have a like great reason for my definition.
I don't either. Okay, it's just a feeling for me as well.
Yeah, like I just think I'm right about everything.
But we do have no authority on this,
right?
Just to clarify,
not right.
Correct.
But like I think I am.
Always. Yeah. I mean, how right I am, like percentage wise, success rate, like that's none of my business.
Not at all. No. It's like the back of my head right now. It doesn't matter.
No one can see it. I can't. Yeah. Unless there were 2 mirrors on either side of me, it's none of my business.
Why would you step between that kind of negativity? It's like going into a fitting room and there's mirrors on all sides. Like, a man invented that. Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. That's none of our business.
A toiling man, one might say.
Love it. Love it.
So we'll get to the word of the day definition. So also updates for this week. We talked about the VMAs last week, and we were a little Taylor-centric. We were a little kind of lost in the land of clowning, and we forgot to give credit where credit is due, and we didn't really mention that Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan both performed at the VMAs, and they both got their first VMAs ever.
What's pretty sweet. Which ones did they win? Do you remember?
Ooh.
That's okay.
Well, I think Chappell Roan got Best New Artist, I believe, and then Sabrina Carpenter, she got Song of the Year. That's what it was.
Oh, for Espresso?
Yeah, which not my favorite
song. Well, you better get on that train, girl. We're going to have to hear it.
That's like my least favorite, probably, Sabrina song. But every other song of hers I love. That one, I think a lot of the reason I don't like it, too, is it's just so, I can't stop hearing it everywhere.
It's really repetitive, and it's like, I kind of just feel like I'm in a trance a little bit.
It's like you're on one of those teacups, and it just keeps spinning.
Yeah,
like,
I want to get off now. And I never actually, like, rarely do I sing the real words. I feel like a lot of times I'm just making it up.
All I know is it's that Me Espresso. I don't know any other words.
I will say I want to give a personal thank you to Sabrina for this song for one reason, and that's because I feel like the vast majority of people actually say the word correctly now, which is espresso, instead of espresso, which as a former barista I have heard 8 million times, and it always makes me want to stab myself in the eye
Mhm.
with the steam wand. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a visual.
That is that is straight out of
It's
Saw.
violent.
It's straight out of Saw.
But like anytime someone would ask like, "What kind of espresso do you have?" I would just be like, "Get out.
We
You
don't have
cannot."
any.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah, you actually have failed the test of people who are
Allowed to drink espresso.
mhm.
But yeah, so I do think a personal thank you to Sabrina for educating the world. Yeah. In Sabrina We Trust.
Yes. I loved her performance too.
It was cool.
Did you get to see it? I can't remember if that was before or after you got
I
on.
didn't see it live. I saw it afterwards.
Nice.
Yeah. And she's just such an entertaining presence on the stage. She's so fun to watch. I loved the alien kiss at the end.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And her like coming down on the diamond in the beginning. Yeah, the whole thing was really cool.
Also, Katy Perry's performance was insane. Like physically, how does one I mean, she's got great abs, so it makes total sense that she was able to physically pull that off.
I think I was texting you guys at the time. I'm like, she's doing like a whole Eras Tour performance.
Yeah, it was really cool. She kicked ass.
But I don't think we're allowed to like her anymore.
Oh, how come?
Because she works with, I think his name's Dr. Lewis, who's the guy who like did a bunch of really messed up stuff to Kesha.
Oh, I don't think that's his name.
Oh.
It's something like that, though.
Let me see. Dr. Luke. What did I say?
Lewis? Said Lewis. She said Lewis and Clark.
No, Dr. Luke, yeah. She is currently working with Dr. Luke on the new album that she's about to put out in September. So, Chappell Roan's VMA performance, what did you think? Did you get to see that one?
I did. I thought it was a really cool concept, but it was a little hard to watch. I feel like maybe, I don't know if she was uncomfortable or...
Yes, I thought so.
You know, and she's done a lot of like insane performances in front of these huge crowds, but I gotta think that crowd of like the elite is a lot different than playing for your fans. And I know you had mentioned like she had some shows or something, I think that she was supposed to have gone to that like got canceled so she could be at the VMAs.
Yeah.
So overall, Chappell can do no wrong, but it did seem a little kind of stiff. Just, not super comfortable. Yeah,
that's how I felt too. Like she comes out and she like shoots the what is that thing called? Like an arrow gun? Do you know what
a bow and arrow? Oh, is it a crossbow?
Crossbow. That's it. Yeah, she like shoots that. And she just looks super uncomfortable. I don't know if it, like you said, the audience or the circumstances that like, you know, her being called a sellout by her fans or just like having all these props. Cause like usually, of course, she like has very elaborate costumes and stuff, but she doesn't often have like such a choreographed and like propped show as well. So I felt like maybe that also made her like feel a little uncomfortable, but not the song I don't think anyone wanted. I was kind of hoping for like a mixture of a couple songs.
I kind of thought they would do like a mashup situation. I would have died if they did Pink Pony Club.
That's what everyone wanted, I think, was Pink Pony Club. And at the VMAs, you usually do your, you know, your top couple hits or your like biggest hit. So
I feel like they only chose this one because it's off her most recent album. Like Pink Pony Club has been out for a long time.
Oh, good point.
So I think I assume that was the motivation behind it.
Like Pink Pony Club, Hot to Go, Red Wine Supernova, Casual. I feel like all of those songs would have been, what even was the song she actually performed? I know I've heard it, but like I couldn't tell you because it's not one of my favorite songs and I don't know the name of it.
Is it Good Luck Babe?
It is. Yep. Good Luck Babe.
Yeah. Which I do like that song, but I don't know.
That's a great point though, because that is her latest single.
That's what I was trying to get out.
So it is probably going to be on the next album. So that does make sense, but still like give us like a little mashup of some of our favorites. But anyways, I thought when she accepted her award, she had such a cute speech. I love how she brought up her like little like notebook with the speech written down in it. You just don't see that very often. It makes her feel more like relatable, I feel like.
Well, she was like drinking out of her like water bottle, like like
yeah,
the whole time. So it's just, she is super relatable, and I don't know, I just think she's so fucking cool. So
she is so cool. I love the dress she showed up into, that first one, the flowy thing.
She had a fucking sword.
She did have a sword. Oh, and then she like cussed out that photographer in the beginning. Fucking good on her. Yes. He deserved it.
Yes. It like honestly, I want to have that saved in my phone just for any minor inconvenience. Like, not me, bitch.
Mm-hmm. Right, not me, bitch. You're getting a sack of dicks.
Yeah, sack of dicks.
Okay. So what's going on this week? We had Matt and Abby's Delulu Salulu to cruising with children.
Yeah, it's a little hard to watch the influencers sometimes.
The like parenting influencers, I don't follow any of them. I hear about them like on TikTok and stuff, but like
I'm familiar with who they are, but I would never on any circumstance take any tips from them.
Especially not this one.
Yeah, this whole thing with the cruise. So basically, for a little bit of context for anybody living under a fucking rock, they posted on their Instagram stories that they were on a cruise with their kids, and that the kids weren't enjoying the dinners, specifically.
I think they weren't enjoying like the cruise daycare. So I think they were bringing them like to the daycare during the dinner, and then like the kids didn't like the daycare.
Interesting. So they just said, we'll leave them by themselves.
Who needs daycare?
Yeah, not us.
Who needs childcare?
So yeah, they showed their baby monitors were FaceTiming one of their phones. And they posted this as like a hack. And it was a few hours later, taken down. They did end up posting a statement and said that someone was with their child.
Yes.
And I think nobody's buying that. So who is paying these people?
TikTok. And like they make a lot of money on TikTok, by the way. So like they could have afforded to bring a nanny on this cruise.
And they stated that the grandparent, like there was family with them on the cruise too. It's not like it was just them.
Right. And that makes it crazier too, because there's other adults they're sitting down to dinner with, and they're like, oh, our children are on FaceTime. And let's specify, this is a 12-month-old and a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about 7 and 8, which is still not okay. But
no.
And the 2-year-old could get up and walk out of the room, probably.
Well, and there are people that have access to this room. You know, it's so many things
to the
happen.
2 rooms.
Yeah, to the 2 rooms, and anything could happen. And you would not be able to get back to them fast enough.
No. So like even, I mean, there's obviously like worst case scenarios, like the staff, there's a serial killer on staff or a child predator on staff, you know, and then there's also just like, what if your child just wakes up and wants you?
Yeah.
If the child wakes up like and just wants their parents, like you're at the very least at least 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
That's too far.
Yeah.
You're hate that.
On a cruise. Like, all I would be able to think about is my baby just walking off the boat.
Dude, yeah.
I think about that kid that you saw in the street.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Just so there's so many things to think that could go wrong that you can't even think of them all.
Like worst and best case scenarios, it's still terrible. Like,
and honestly, I had the only reason I knew who they were is because I had seen other people make videos about how, like, the husband has said, like, really creepy things about the wife in
Uh,
videos, just kind of, like, over-sexualizing her and stuff, like any
ew.
normal man.
White male.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
so I
man in
already
general.
kind of didn't have, like, a very good impression of them, but certainly now it's just like, who would take advice from these people?
And like also for them to share it to their Instagram story, thinking
Mhm.
that this is like a life hack or something, people are going to be like, "Oh, thank you so much for sharing." Like
Yeah.
now I know when I go on my cruise with my kids, I will just FaceTime the baby monitors. Like that is audacity, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's really harmful.
it's just like it calls into question like if they think that this is okay, like what are the things that they're not sharing that are
Yeah,
probably much more questionable decisions.
that's a good point.
So, yeah, I don't like them.
Yeah, bye.
Also, going on this week, we got our Sabrina Carpenter outfits. I
Oh my
just
god.
ordered my boots right before we recorded. So I need to figure out jewelry still. I think you get the choker?
I still can't decide which color because
Mm.
I really like the dark blue one,
Hmm.
but I know it doesn't really pop. And part of me really wants the red one.
The red is pretty cool too.
And I feel like the red would be really cool.
There are like kind of pinkish tones in the dress that you
That's
picked
okay.
out.
So, first of all, I manifested the
Yes,
Tinkerbell dress of my dreams.
you did.
And I'm so happy that the green dress was out of stock. Not because it's not fabulous. The green
Hmm.
dress that I originally picked out was gorgeous. But I do think the likelihood of me actually wearing it again was like super, super, super low.
Mm.
Like I probably would wear it to dress up as Tinkerbell in the future
For
and
Halloween.
for Halloween. And so like that's probably about the only time I would really wear it. But the one that I ended up buying is like kind of the dress of my dreams.
It's beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
so many different like textures and it's very flowy and
Yeah.
like twisty.
It's got like a tulle, so it's like a purpley blue color with like
Mhm.
pink undertones
Mhm.
because it's got this like tulle skirt kind
Yeah.
of, and it's a dress, so like it's attached, the little skirt part,
Mhm.
but the little tulle skirt is like dark blue, like kind of purple and pink colors all kind of
Yeah.
mixed in, and then it's got these like beads. The top part is like almost, what do you call that neckline?
It's like a pretty high neck, but then it's
Mhm.
almost like it's sleeveless. So
Mhm.
I really like that because
Yeah.
I won't be super hot. I think it is going to be on the heavier side from the reviews that I read. It's an
Okay.
older dress. It's a Free People dress that I found on Poshmark. And usually when I find something that I like on Poshmark, the first thing that I do is I try to find more of it to see like what the price range is, like what it
Mm.
normally sells for. And for this one, I had a hard time finding other ones on Poshmark. So I Googled it and I'm pretty sure the dress itself came out like 10 years ago. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
wow.
it is on
Mhm.
the older side. Um, but it has like lace and sequins on the top, but it
Yes.
also has these like knit rosettes that are like
Mhm.
randomly placed too. So it's got a lot going on, but it's definitely the Tinkerbell dress of my dreams. And early 2000s Amber would be so stoked about this dress.
I
So
think quarter thousands Amber is pretty stoked about
stoked.
this dress
So
too.
stoked.
I'm
Yeah.
stoked.
And then I don't know where I came up with the bolo tie thing. I was just thinking about it and I was like, I feel like this would look really cool with some kind of bolo tie. And I've just
Mhm.
always wanted a bolo tie. And then I found a bolo choker. And now I just have to decide which color to get because there's like a bright turquoise, which was immediately the one I went to because I love turquoise. Who doesn't? And then there's a red one, a dark blue one, and a dark green one.
Mhm.
So I don't know. The choice is not obvious, but I'm leaning
Mm-mm.
towards red, I think.
Okay. No, I think red would look good with that.
Yeah.
I think the dark green and the dark blue is too similar to the color of the dress, even though they look really cool.
Yeah, I know. And
So
I'm like, part of me likes that because it's more like I do like monochrome a
mm,
lot. Part of me likes that they're really similar to the dress, but I feel like I'd rather have something that stands out.
mhm.
So I'm leaning on, I think, the red, but the turquoise is
Nice.
like a strong option too. So we'll see.
Mhm.
We'll have to
And
post
then
it on our stories because we said we were going to do that, and then we
and
didn't.
we didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the dress I got, it's like a halter
It's
what
a
is a
skater
skater?
dress.
It
It's
is, okay.
yeah, because it's got like the like cute bottom part that like flares out.
Yeah.
But it's like a halter, right? So like the back is mostly open.
Did I look at the back?
I don't remember the back, but it is a halter neck, I thought.
It's definitely a halter neck. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, with the white boots,
Yes, it is.
yours is giving Alice in Wonderland vibes. And I don't know if that was at
Oh,
all intentional, but that's
no. But I
what
love
I
that.
feel. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it's like a denim colored. It almost looks like corduroy texture, but
I think it's
like
gonna be really
denim
soft.
color.
It looks
I
like
think
it's
so
so
too.
soft.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it says it's got some stretch to it too, so you know it's kind of like that material, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that, and then I got some like under the knee calf boots that are like
Mm-hmm.
a white fake leather, and it's got this zipper that kind of spirals um around the leg to
That's
zip them
cool.
up.
I didn't realize that it did that.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah, it's
and
not
are
like
we
all
gonna
the way around. I think it's like it goes like maybe a third or
Oh,
a
cute.
halfway around the calf. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are we gonna try to make them iridescent?
We might like dump a bunch of glitter or something on them. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't mind like putting glitter on them that will fall off, but I don't want to like paint them or
Permanently.
anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens when they get here. But we're gonna be covered, I feel like, head to toe in glitter.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they will be glittered.
Yeah. I can't wait to wear my rhinestone tights again. Like, I'm so excited.
I know. I was gonna get, because we weren't sure like what color boots I was getting at first. The boots search, that's been a lot of what's going on this week for me, is
Yeah.
searching for damn boots. You can't get them. You can't get boots anymore.
No.
Everything you search for online is a fraud.
Yep. Yep. All the
And
companies suck and there's no trusted retailers. Also, the boots that we were looking for were really specific and like
yeah,
very
I was looking.
I don't even know what you call them. Like, what kind of style is this?
It's kind of like a go-go or
Go-go
like punk, like goth kind of style. I think they were
Yes.
like, we were looking for like iridescent platform boots.
So specific.
And we ended up not finding iridescent. I settled with white, but the white's gonna look really good with like the baby blue dress. So yeah, we're super excited. We've got glitter for the hair. We've got rhinestone fishnets.
Tori's gonna be 8 feet tall. I just want to say, because I'm planning to wear flats.
Oh God, yeah.
I still haven't decided on shoes because originally I was going to wear brown boots, but now this dress is kind of on the darker side, and I'm like, should I wear black? But so I don't know. TBD on the shoes.
Yeah, you could really get away with like whatever the vibe is. Like a white would be cool too. I don't know if you have something like that.
I don't have white, and I honestly,
or like light brown.
The only ones that I have that I think will look good with the dress are the ones I wore to the Eras movie. Yeah, I think those are like the only ones I have that would look right with this dress.
And those were like mid calf, right?
They come up to my knee.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
And then they were flat on the bottom, right?
Yeah. And they're just like brown suede.
Yeah, those are cute. I think those would look good with that dress.
I think so, but I might look for similar ones that are black. But I want to wait until their dress gets here and kind of see, because if I don't have to buy shoes, then I'm not going to.
For sure, yeah. So we're super excited about that.
Also going on this week is Chloe's first homecoming. It has been such a like cool week just watching him get to do all the like dress up things each day. They had a different theme. And
Yeah.
then he marched at the homecoming game last night, and just all fun things. So I'm super pumped for him. And it was just a lot of fun this last week getting everything together for his outfit tonight. So I'm really
I
excited
can't
for him.
wait.
I know.
I know I'm gonna get pictures like once you drop them off, and I'm just like I'm so excited to see
I'm
the
ready to
outfit.
cry. Yeah.
Oh.
Also going on this week, I was a 9 to 5 zombie. I was a slave to
Welcome.
my job this week. I was really trying to just have my shit together, and I will say I did a great job, but I am so tired.
Yeah.
But very glad to be able to just take it easy this weekend and focus on my kids.
It should be illegal to be a mom and work 40 hours a week.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell that a man invented the 40-hour work week.
Yeah. Now, granted, before the 40 hour, it was like there were no regulations, I think.
Well,
I think it was worse.
Fuck them. They designed the system that benefits themselves.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
that's it.
That is it. I mean, you can't argue that.
No.
How do we feel about ... mom talk TikTok content? Now that was a mouthful.
I'm so impressed that you got that out.
First try.
Wow. Impressive. Now, if that had been me, I would have been like, blah, 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 blah. David Attenborough's voice.
Voice?
Voice? Are you saying boys or voice?
So the mom talk oh, here we go. Here we go.
Maybe just mom talk content.
The mom talk content. Yeah, that actually is more accurate and efficient. I don't like it. It's weird. Like they're playing so hard into like the show themes and stuff that like there's videos of like Macy sitting down with Dakota, but like they're talking about how like I don't know, the sound that they're using is like them having to force themselves to get together and talk. And it all feels so staged. And I'm like, is any of this real, or are y'all just doing it for the views? You know, because you can obviously sit down and make that content together.
I think it's just the type of content that these kind of creators put out because it's what's successful, because ultimately the viewers of the show want to see stuff like that. Even
I don't.
Well, maybe not. People enjoy it because of the drama. Like the show wouldn't be good without the drama. So I feel like they do this kind of bit because that's what works for them. Like they're trying to sell to people constantly. That's what their job is. And it's like they just think like this is what's cool and this is what's trending. And it's so like kind of sad and diluted.
It's very cringy.
Super cringy. Yeah.
Like I would rather them like just do a minute-long video about like, you know, this and this actually happened and this is my like of them just talking to the camera than these like, I don't know, TikTok sounds that can like in a long stretch be related to this stuff that's going on in their life. I don't know. Yeah. But I never watched their content before The Secret Lives of the Mormon Wives, and I think that it was very similar content before. So I do like all the dancing videos. Like those are fun.
Yeah, I think it's just whatever they think will be the biggest clickbait. Like, you know, and they're all doing it. You know, that girl Jenna, I told you I saw a TikTok of her where like she was like using the text that Macy, like she was taking Macy's audio and like pasted the text in her TikTok, and they're all very much playing into it. And I really think it's just because they're trying to make money.
Yeah. And
they're trying to make money and they want a second season. And if they do all this cringy shit, then it will get people's attention. I think that's the interesting thing about the types of content these types of people post is that it's not like nobody actually likes it, but they can't look away. Like you're still talking about it, you know? It works. Yes. So it's
true.
It's almost like a genius marketing strategy, but when you really sit down and think about it, it doesn't sit well. Like it doesn't.
I hate it. Yeah.
But we all fall we all fall victim to it. So it's
Right.
like, I think that's kind of the point with anything that they do, is sort of from that vein for a reason. But I do agree, some of it is like, I think some of them are funny when they're like obviously poking fun
Yes, yeah.
at themselves a little bit, but then the one, I think that the one that we're really focusing on is the one of Macy and Dakota and Taylor.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, I don't know.
So I feel like at this point they have so much stardom that they could take a shift into making more genuine content, and they're not. And I think that's what kind of bothers me. Like, it's even okay to do that stuff if you sprinkle some like more genuine stuff in, or like something that really shows more who you are as a person versus like just redoing like TikTok sound bites and stuff. But again, this is probably what they did before the show came out, and they're just going to keep doing their thing. It works for them. They're all banking off of it. So like, I get it, but I just wish that they would kind of shift and do something a little more genuine.
Yeah, I think the ones that really bother me are more so the ones with like Jen and her husband, because there's some genuine trifling behavior. Not even trifling's not the right word. There's some
toiling, one might say.
Toiling behavior on Jen's husband's side.
Yes.
And seeing her kind of poke fun at that feels like she doesn't take that seriously, or doesn't understand the gravity of it, maybe. I don't know.
Right. Or she's just trying to make money off of it, which I get, but like that's like a terrible thing to perpetuate. Like a male being like dominating and controlling in a relationship, and the fact that it's okay. And I'm not necessarily on, I don't know, I know a lot of people are like, you know, they should just break up because he's terrible, and he has been pretty terrible, but like if they want to work it out amongst themselves, they did get married very young. I think that they might have potential still. They are still young. They might have potential to be able to grow together if they both want to. But yeah, you shouldn't like perpetuate that and make it seem like it's okay, because it's not. And if anything, the kind of genuine content I want to see from them is him taking some kind of fucking accountability. And we're not seeing that at all.
No. And I don't think we will. I think anything like that will happen behind closed doors. Yeah, or they're saving it for the show. Yeah. So I just think that there's a lot of harmful rhetoric that can come from just like the Matt and Abby thing, and like this thing with like Jen and her husband kind of poking fun at his quite frankly abusive tendencies with her. It's really sad, because I feel like we're intelligent enough not to fall victim to people like that, but there's a lot of people in the world who are really, really impressionable because of social media and things, just the way the show has been portrayed, that like just hate to see that kind of stuff made lightly.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so how do we feel about it? I'd say I don't like it. I want something more genuine. Amber's giving thumbs down.
Yeah, I would like to see Whitney maybe like discovering her husband's Grindr profile, or discussing his many hair options. Maybe there's some wigs that we could take a look at. That could be interesting.
Also, her taking any accountability would be great as well.
Or just like stop showing your face on the internet.
Or show us all the different treats that you put pregnancy tests into. So word of the week this week is toiling. If the listeners have not picked up on it yet, let's see what toiling means and see if we've been using it correctly.
I feel like that's a no.
So we thought it was like someone being annoying or something, right?
Well, I said like someone being bad, I think, or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
We both were using it in a negative connotation type of way. To toil means to work extremely hard or incessantly, or move slowly and with difficulty. Those things are very different.
Right. So you're telling me it means black and white?
Yes. So we toiled away means that they worked very hard, or she began to toil up the cliff path. So she was working very hard to get up there.
Is that sentence on the Google?
This is on the Google, yeah. Top search result. So it's got to be right.
Okay, so the developers at Google, somebody find a better sentence than that. Can we run that sentence back?
Yeah. She began to toil up the cliff path.
Yeah, see, it sounds like you're making that up because that's a horrible sentence.
It is. Wow, so we've been using toil incorrectly, I believe, the whole time. It does kind of align more with the second definition of like moving with difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite how we've been using it though.
Yeah. I don't like it.
You learn something new every day.
Great. Excellent.
Thank God. Okay, so Tinder adventures this week. A couple things I've noticed about Tinder profiles or dating app profiles. Usually you can like kind of state your intention. Like there's usually a section that says like I'm looking for something long-term or short term. There's short-term but open to long-term or long-term but open to short-term. So you can state your dating intentions that way. And I think it's so funny because like that section is like a little bit under the bio. So I usually start by reading the bio, and I'll be in the bio sometimes and it's like I've got over a 750 credit score, and like it just kind of I'm a homeowner and like all this stuff, like kind of selling this person to you, right? And then you get down and it says looking for short-term fun. And I'm just like, well, then why are you telling me about your credit score? You know? Like,
yeah, I just want to know, like, what song you like to listen to.
Ooh. How many inches are we talking? Like, I mean,
skip right to what I really want to know.
I'm just kidding about that. But like, yeah, you're right. Like, you just want the... You just want to know like the surface level things. Right. I feel like if we're just going to be short-term fun, I don't need to know you're a good listener. That doesn't matter.
It's not applicable.
In this scenario. It's NA. Yeah.
You're not going to be listening to me.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah, I just find that funny. That they'll.
That is really interesting.
It's like I'm reading through it and I'm like, oh, this guy sounds like a a hit. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then short-term fun, I'm like, well, then why did you waste your breath on all of that? None of that matters now.
Yeah, like I feel bamboozled.
Yeah, tell me you have a dog. You know, that's applicable. If short-term fun, I might see your dog when we get together. Like, tell me those more surface level things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, we did get a response. Remember, I asked that guy what his success rate was while we were on the podcast. Mm-hmm. This is the guy who reached out to me and said, I don't know whether to respect the fuck out of you or fuck the respect out of you. Mm-hmm. And I said, I would like to know what your success rate is on messages like that. And he responded with 30% marriage rate. So not bad.
Wait a minute. Like, as in 30% of them are married?
No, I think he got married after sending a message like that. And now he's back on Tinder. So right, is this a success or a failure? Yeah. And then also 30%. So like, how many people have you sent this not many.
Right.
It sounds like I was one of the lucky few.
So 3? If we're saying 30%, right? Or
it's got to be divisible by 3, I would think. Unless, do you think he's gotten married twice off of, and it was 6 people?
They were like, you know what? Sign me up. They probably eloped. Yeah.
In Vegas. Yeah, for sure. So I just thought that was interesting. That was a fun little experiment we ran. People I'm talking to, still talking to Otis, who's that like just super nice, super hot guy. Only problem, we did like kind of set some like potential dates, but we haven't like actually locked them down. But we have a couple of days that we might hang out. Only issue with this one is he's not like super responsive, and he did get back to me last night and tell me that like he's just been super stressed out with work, which I was kind of getting that vibe anyways. He had mentioned that like earlier in the week too. And he was telling me like today he's just like I think he's in a funk, like he's not really feeling like himself and stuff like that. So I think he's just kind of going through it. So there's that. But seems like just such a nice dude. And just so hot.
That definitely helps.
So hot. And then there's Jason, who's the audio guy. Super nice as well. He's a drummer. And I said I was gonna stay out of the musician.
There's no rules.
True. Okay. I like that rule. Yeah. We did set a date. It's like a few weeks out because both of our schedules are just crazy. But yeah, like 3 weeks out, actually. I just looked at the date. I think it's like 3 weeks away. Nice. But yeah, we've got a date planned. He like requested off work that day, so that's kind of nice.
Cute.
Yeah. And then there's like quite a few other like people I'm still talking to on like Bumble and stuff, but we haven't moved off of the apps. So
nice. Well,
so
keep us
we've got
updated.
some decent contenders, and it kind of sucks because I feel like there's two like actually decent contenders at the same time. Like before, I couldn't get one decent contender at a time, and now I have two at the same time. So it's like eventually I'm gonna have to pick one, right? You know. So
I still say one of them will present a red flag at some point. So I don't think you have to worry about choosing. I think it'll be clear.
Chances are, yeah.
More than likely, yeah.
Cool. But what are we consuming this week?
Are we skipping funny texts?
Well, we could. So my first one's with Amber. I can't remember what she tried to pronounce, but she must have done a bad job at it. It was probably a voice note because she said, can't pronounce worth a shit, and then had the little upside down smiley emoji. And I said, luckily, I have purse. And then she said, oh, thank God. If we didn't have purse, we definitely couldn't continue. Praise purse. And I said, exactly. I actually use a fanny, but I'm calling it purse. Luckily. And then Amber said, luckily, I have fanny doesn't have the same ring. And then my brain just went off the side rails as per usual. And I said, throw that fanny back. Then Amber said, right. And I shared a gif of like one of those like car dealership, like what are the flappy in the wind things? Yeah. I don't even know what to call it. I hope our listeners can understand what I'm talking about. But it's like kind of bent over, like it's throwing it back.
Yeah.
So I shared that gif, and then Amber said, LMFAO, that's kind of how I imagine the narcoleptic Pegasus once the vertigo kicked in.
And I want to add also, it kind of looks like Angela when she's twerking.
Yes. What does she say? Roll that butt?
Roll that butt.
Why does that sound so like, ugh?
So bad. So bad.
It does. Yeah. So that concludes my first funny text. I really enjoyed that one. That was
a good one.
Definitely one of those moments when like we just wouldn't let the bit die.
No. My first text is from Birdie, and it's a TikTok, and it's a Taking Back Sunday music video, and it's got Flavor Flav singing the Taking Back Sunday, and the bit of nostalgia that this gave me, that like Flavor Flav used to be like a regular part of our everyday life. Like we saw him in a commercial once a day. He had his own reality show, and I mostly am sharing this because there's just not music like that anymore. So.
I couldn't begin to name one of his songs, but I was actually, when you brought up Flavor Flav, I was going to ask you, could you have imagined 12, 15 years ago that Flavor Flav would still be relevant in our lives today?
No.
Like,
or that he is a diehard Swiftie.
I know Sam and I were just talking about Flavor Flav on Crimelia Street, actually.
That is so
latest
funny
episode, because he just posted in response to Donald Trump's truth post or whatever, Flavor Flav posted in all caps, "I love Taylor Swift." And then like, let me pull up the.
While you're doing that, I do want to clarify that I'm not saying music like Flavor Flav. I'm saying music like Taking Back Sunday isn't like that anymore. Like, I could give a fuck less about Flavor Flav's music.
I'm so glad you clarified that, honestly, because I was like, I couldn't even begin to tell you
name
like
a single Flavor Flav
any
song.
of his music.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so my next funny text it's from Birdie. In Amber and Birdie and I's group chat. But Amber was probably working or doing something more important than texting. But Birdie sent a TikTok of like someone kind of critiquing the Mormon Wives show, and was pointing out that like Whitney may have put all of the like really controversial note cards into the truth box that they were pulling out at the girls trip. And I just responded and said, "Whitney is the worst." And Birdie said, "I wouldn't be surprised if she wrote all those cards herself." And I said, "I wouldn't be either." And then we were talking about how she was kind of complaining about like not getting forgiveness like Taylor. And then I said, "And we don't forgive you because there was a sick baby involved in your video." And then Birdie responded, "She needs to go hide under a rock. Her delusion rivals that of a man."
She needs to go hide under a rock.
But her delusion rivals that of a man is like chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Like, it just well put, Birdie.
Yeah.
Well said.
Well, and it's so funny because my next text is also from Birdie, so this is just the Birdie fan club. Welcome. The water's warm here. Come on in. This one was sent. I don't know why I feel the need to say it was sent on a Tuesday at 11:30 in the morning.
I like the setting that you provide us.
Yeah. And she said she had called me and I didn't answer because I was in the middle of working. And she said, "Just calling for some advice on semantics. How can I professionally tell someone to get their shit together," all in shouty caps,
Of course,
via email? "No, I can't change your schedule for the 689th time. We can't switch things all willy-nilly."
I love that. And I will say I feel it in my bones as well. Like the amount of times you want to just respond in a professional environment with the way that you actually feel, but you know you can't.
You can't. You can't. I just want to say, no, I can't change your schedule for the 689th time to anybody who ever wrongs me ever again.
Along with the Secadix, yeah.
Definitely going to send them the Secadix too.
I feel like you can hear that we've taken the spaces out of that. Just
Secadix.
Secadix.
Yeah, it's one syllable.
Yeah.
Secadix. When I was texting my sister-in-law about it, I was like, I keep expecting to read like Sacagawea or something, but it's Secadix.
Secadix, yeah.
What are we consuming this week?
Okay, so this week, I've been watching a lot of Big Brother. It has been seasons 1, 2, and 26.
It's specific.
Season 1 I finished. Really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed season 1. There's definitely some things that were not right because of the times. So like George was like the old guy that was in the house. I'm sure there's always like a couple like older people in the house. And George was like the old guy in the house of that season. And he just like, he wasn't necessarily homophobic, but like there was a point when like one of the guys was asked, would you rather like have sex with a guy or like kiss a guy? And he said he'd rather have sex with a guy because he can just like close his eyes and pretend, but like kissing was too intimate or something, whatever. But then and none of the people at this point seemed like freaked out by the question or anything, And then when it got brought up later that he had said that, George didn't hear it when he initially said it. And then George nominated him out, I believe, that week because he's like, oh, I don't want him to say anything else that could like bring his character down or like while he's on the show. So he's pretty much saying that like he's making himself look bad on TV by saying so. I don't know. The whole thing was weird. George also wore like a towel on his head at one point to kind of look like a Middle Eastern person, and was talking about like owning convenience shops and stuff. Ooh. So like,
yeah,
definitely some like racist and like homophobic vibes that I don't love. On season 1. And George made it, he was like the 5th, I think, 5th place. So he made it pretty far. So I was pretty glad to see him go. But the whole season, I would say the guy who won, I thought was super deserving of it. He was, is it paraplegic? He didn't have one leg.
Okay. I don't think I ever watched season 1 that I can remember.
Okay. Yeah. It's like a different game. So like, and it's so long. 70 episodes was a bit much. Like there was too much in between stuff.
Gotcha.
Like now there's always something happening, you know, it's the HOH or it's the veto. But yeah, he was very deserving because he just had like a ton of medical bills, and he was going to use the money to like pay off some of his medical bills, whereas like some of the other people that were in the final all had like good jobs and like they were going to be okay without the money. So I think that it was pretty cool that he won, and he was just like a stand-up guy the whole time, and he was also the only one in the season that was trying to play strategically, which like I don't think actually really benefited him very much because he didn't really switch to that until the very end. But yeah, I'm glad that he won it. So that was cool to see. Just recently started season 2 because I finished season 1. Look how that works. And season 2 also some homophobic vibes right off the bat. There's a gay guy. What is his name? It's like Bucky or something like that. But the first night he's talking about like how he's married and everyone's just assuming that he's married to a woman. And the old guy in this season, Kent, don't love him. He is just like this old Southern guy.
Yeah.
And like he just kind of comes off like a prick, but then he's talking to the gay guy and he's saying like, oh, we got to find the gay guy in the house. There's always like a gay guy. And I think they're referring to Big Brothers in Europe at this point. I haven't seen any of the Europe ones, but I'm assuming that's what they're referring to because season 1 in the US didn't have a gay person on it as far as I know. But so he's saying we got to find out who it is. And he's like, said something about how now they're just trying to call it an alternative lifestyle, but it's deviant and like just all this terrible stuff. And he's saying it to the gay guy. Eventually the gay guy starts coming out to people individually, and Kent accuses him of saying that he had a wife, and he's like, I never said I had a wife, like you assumed I had a wife. And then he like attacks him for not like saying, oh, I didn't have a wife, pretty much not coming out to the whole group at once. And I love Bucky, whatever his name is, I can't remember for sure. I love him though, because he's like, it's my choice, like how I come out to people. If I want to do it individually, then that's what I'm gonna do. And then the other notable thing that's happened, I think I'm on like episode like 3 or 4 of season 2. The other notable thing that happened was Justin got sent home for violence. He got expelled from the house. This guy gives straight serial killer rapist vibes. He had already been talked to by production a few times about like talking about taking sex from women or aggressively taking sex from some of the women on the cast. He had like almost gotten in a fight with one of the other house guests, and the guy just seemed like total bad news. But then him and this other girl were pretty wasted one night, and he like she lays down and he like takes like a one of those like dirt devil things, and like kind of swings it around at her head, and he's said like, what would you do if I just like clobbered you with this right now?
Ugh,
And, like, the words he was using
so
were very
much.
graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't show this part, but apparently he ends up like holding a knife to her throat at one point and like asking her what she would do if he wanted to kill her, or if he killed her. The whole thing was so weird. I'm so glad he got expelled. The
Yeah.
guy seems like an absolute creep. And then I looked him up because I'm like, I feel like this guy's probably gotten arrested for shit after this, because the way he looked at her, it just looked so creepy to me. And he was arrested actually the next year for assaulting his girlfriend. And she had a broken ankle and like choke marks on her neck. So now he's married with children. Um, so I hope
That's scary.
he, has figured his shit out. But yeah, I fucking hate that guy. And he's super creepy, and I'm glad he got kicked out. And that's the last I saw. So it's been eventful. Oh, season 1 too. They almost had a coup, or I don't know if they revolted. They were all gonna walk out of the house together.
Oh, I love that.
It was a very exciting moment, and like it was George actually leading the revolution, and he was trying to convince them that they would all each get $500,000 if they all walked out, and somehow they all were on the same page with him, and they almost all did it. And then they started thinking about it, and they're like, I don't think so. And like they slowly started backing out one by one. But that would have been interesting.
Yeah, that would be really funny.
That was a cool moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, are they gonna do
A coup? That's amazing. So flash forward to 2024.
Yes.
You know, because these episodes that Tori's watching are 20 years old.
Yeah, so it's from 2000, and now 2001 is season 2. So
amazing. So this week, Big Brother was unhinged. The cast got kicked out of the house and sent to Janky World in the backyard. And boy, is it janky.
It is so janky. Oh my God. I love it.
The part I really have a hard time with is that they can only eat pizza or ice cream.
Yes. That would be the hardest part for me, I think, being there.
Yeah. And I betcha it's some frozen pizzas. Like,
it's gotta be, right?
Yeah, they're not going to Domino's 5 times a day.
Like, is there garlic sauce is all I want to know.
There better be ranch.
Yeah. Yeah, I would really struggle with that. Like, a week of eating just pizza and ice cream.
I think I would to be the HOH stop. Too. Like, you don't get the HOH bedroom.
Yeah. All she got was the robe.
It's like,
she did get a tiara.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So yeah, Leah wins HOH. Which good for Leah. It was nice. Like, she seemed very excited to win a competition. So
yeah,
that was cute.
Sometimes I want to like her, and then I remember she's just been like such a mean girl sometimes.
I don't have strong emotions either way. I'm just kind of like, I don't care. I guess. I think the only thing that made her likable was her dynamic with Quinn and Joseph.
Yeah.
And the rest is just kind of like, I
did think that was
whatever.
Funny. Yeah.
So yeah, Leah is HOH, and then who does she nominate?
She nominates Chemo and Rubina.
Oh, that's right. So she's going after the trio.
Which I thought was interesting. I felt like if she had done T-Core and either one of them, because like they're both closer, like Rubina's closer to T-Core and Chemo's closer to T-Core. So I felt like if she took out that middle bridge, which would have been T-Core, like that would have been, I don't know, the smarter nomination if you're trying to break up the trio. So I thought it was interesting that she did Chemo and Rubina, but
yeah, that's a good point.
It soon doesn't matter.
Yeah. So then they play the veto. I fell asleep during part of this, and I did not go back and rewatch it.
Okay.
So I didn't see like half the veto episode.
Okay. So they pretty much just had to like fit this candy in a flat surface where it was like all flush, and it couldn't be like kind of sticking up out of the space that it was supposed to be in. It was kind of like hard to watch I would like a go at this game, I feel like, because I'm like, y'all are like, that didn't work. Stop trying the same fucking thing. Get the biggest piece out of the middle. That's not working. It's not working for you guys.
Yeah, interesting.
So, but anyway, so Angela ends up winning the regular veto, and then there's another veto up for grabs, which is Janky's veto. And Leo wins that. And how Janky's veto ended up working was like you had to play one of the like carnival games in Janky's world that they announced like at the time of the veto meeting, and if you win it, then you get to use you have the veto, and if not, then you don't have it. So Leah, it ended up being one of those bottle games, or either the like baseball at the bottles. I think she had to knock down like 5 bottles or something. She didn't knock down one. So that was kind of pathetic to see. And then Angela ended up taking chemo off the block, which she like, I think she's trying to get in good with the trio.
Yeah, well, the thing is, she's got to try to get in. She really doesn't have a strong Leah, maybe, but
she kind of fucked that up too.
Yeah, so she's kind of all over the place, and I think that's going to result in her leaving soon. If they don't get her out of there soon, she's going to win.
I can't. I literally can't if she wins. Like,
also,
stop saving her.
This is the most vetoes ever used in a season, I think. Like, I think Julie said on the last episode, like, the 10 vetoes in a row have been used. Like, it's so rare for people to use the veto, and this season is just so unhinged. I love it. It's been such a nice breath of fresh air of years of watching Big Brother. To see them playing differently for once is so cool.
Neat. Heck yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think they've used it every single time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So Angela takes chemo off, and then Leah puts T-Core up. So T-Core now is up. The second T-Core got put on the block, I was like, she's going home. And because she's a great competitor. Again, another reason I'm not sure why she hadn't been put up initially or ever before.
She had a good social game. I think she just, everybody in the house really liked her, genuinely liked her. And I think that's the main thing that kept her off the block, is just, and honestly, I was kind of bummed because I think she was my favorite. Now I'm just kind of like, I feel the same about all of them. Honestly, I think I'm rooting for Angela at this point. Like,
ew, no.
Like, I don't actually want her to win, but it would be so funny if she did.
Oh my gosh. I think I'm rooting for Mackenzie. And I was kind of, last week I was like, I'm kind of in between Mackenzie and T-Core being my favorite. I hadn't decided. Now I don't have a choice. So I think Mackenzie is my favorite now. So.
And
which means she'll go home next week.
Yeah. We did guess correctly that the double eviction is coming. So the double eviction is this coming week. And you get to meet Zingbot.
Oh.
So
okay.
Just Zingbot just insults everyone. And it's hilarious. He just calls everybody out. He just comes in the house and talks shit, and it's hilarious. So you're gonna love that.
I love that. Okay, our list for today is we've done this list before, but we've got some new things added to it. Things people mean as a compliment, but it's actually insulting. What we have on here is you look good for your age.
Yeah, that's
ouch.
That's not nice.
Ouch. Yeah. You're so brave to wear that.
I feel like I've gotten this before. For sure.
I definitely have. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, your outfit's ugly too.
Yeah. How weird of you to say that to me.
Right. You're smarter than you look.
Oh, this one makes me so mad. So mad.
You clean up well.
Yeah, that is for sure an insult. It's like, yeah, you always look like shit. I didn't know you could look good.
And then there's the classic, what is it? You should smile more.
Yeah, I'd smack somebody for saying that to me.
Right. or you'd look, I don't know how to word that to where
You'd
it
look
fits in the list
better if you smiled or something.
Or you're so pretty, you should smile more.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
I can hear that in like a grandma's voice too. Not even
grandpa.
Well, yeah.
Because it's always a man.
Well, I was going to say that, but I feel like old women are just as deep in the patriarchy as the men. Like, they're just so ingrained in it, they don't even know any better.
Mm-hmm. I do agree with that, but I've only had men say it to me. I guess that's why
I can picture old ladies in my family saying this. This is why I don't talk to my mom's side of the family. Because they say shit like that.
That's fair. That's so fair.
Yeah.
So our story this week, we've got an Amber-centric story.
Yeah. This is I don't know what to call this. It's not necessarily happy nor sad. It's an interesting story. It's
a tidbit.
It's a tidbit. It's the time in my life where I became a mother. It's a really special time, but for me, I was really young, so it was very stressful. My husband and I, who we were not husband and wife at the time, we met when I was a freshman in college, and I pretty much decided early on I was obsessed with him and that I was going to have his babies. I didn't even want to necessarily have babies, but I decided that pretty early on. And we grew up in a really small town, so everybody knows everybody. Everybody's dated everybody. And everybody's nose is always in everybody's business. So growing up, I was pretty well liked, I would say. People were pretty nice to me. I was a really social kid.
Weren't you like the valedictorian or something?
I was class president. So
that's right.
Yeah. People were really nice to me. So like I was voted like best all around in the yearbook, like every year of high school. I got the same, which always really meant a lot to me because I was like, people like me. And as a people pleaser, you know, that's all there is.
Also can confirm.
Yeah. So I had a pretty good high school experience. I had good friends and all that. And when I went to college, I started hanging out with a new crowd, as you do. And Birdie and I got really close. Birdie and I grew up together. We've known each other since the 5th grade, but we lived together in college. She's the one who introduced me to my husband. So anyway, we're really young. It was right after the end of my freshman year. It was summer. And my husband and I, or my boyfriend and I, found out that we were expecting. And, you know, I had a lot of reactions. Very few of them were positive.
I can only imagine, because when I found out I was pregnant when I was 32, I don't think I was, like, even though I was trying, my first few, the emotions for the first couple days were not happy.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It wasn't sad either. It was more overwhelmed. And that's like when I planned it as an adult.
Yeah. So I was 19, living with my mom. Sean had been living in Florida that year and had just moved back to Virginia. And like I said, I got a lot of reactions. And I started very quickly to realize who supported me and who didn't. And pretty much one of the only people who supported me was Birdie, first of all. The only friend of mine who was actually happy for me and cried like happy tears when we talked about it. And also, I just want to say, like, she knew from the beginning I was going to have a boy. She was like, well, you're just going to have the cutest son ever. And like,
because she's a witch.
Yeah. So it was a really emotional time for me. I was feeling really judged, and I was hearing a lot of the things that people were saying about me were coming back to me, and it was very emotional and not great. So it was winter. So I found out I was pregnant over the summer, and it got to be about the winter, and my boyfriend's parents, who we were living with, were about to move to Florida. And they said, you know, you guys are welcome to come with us. You can go to school. We can help you with the baby. They were incredibly supportive and just really just wanted to give us another option rather than staying in our hometown. And to this day, it's the best decision that we ever made. I can say with 100% complete confidence, I was not in a great mental space during my pregnancy. And the best feeling was just like disappearing.
Oh my God, I bet just leaving all of that behind, like
yes. And
it had
just,
to be like a weight off the shoulders
yes.
and left behind.
And it also just really gave Sean and I the opportunity to focus on each other and the fact that we were starting a family. And it's honestly like some of the best times that we've had as a couple. I remember from that time, we were just really, really, really close. And so we had our son, and, you know, it was interesting to see how people treated me on social media because I was so far away. The only frame of reference people had were things I post on Facebook, because back then, you know, that was really the main social app was Facebook.
Instagram hadn't really taken off yet.
No, because this is 2010. But, you know, I slowly start to post pictures of Coley, and I don't care what anybody says, Cole was the cutest fucking baby in the world.
So cute.
And just beautiful. Just absolutely such a beautiful kid.
He looked stoic.
Yes. Yes.
Like from the day he came out.
Yes. and he was just the best kid. I mean, he's still the best kid in the world. He's great. But just as a child, he was always so like used to being around adults because we didn't have a lot of people our age besides like Tori and Alicia and Terrell. We didn't have a lot of other people our age that were around our children. And so, like I said, it was interesting to see the way people would treat us on social media. We would post a picture of Cole or us with Cole, and it would get like so many likes and comments, and we would get so many messages. And it's just like, man, you guys all loved the opportunity to talk shit.
Right. Like this while is I was still pregnant. Y'all.
Yeah. Like while I needed support, you were dicks. And there was literally only a handful of people that Sean and I would hang out with before we moved to Florida, because I was just like, everyone's an asshole. Everyone's treating me like I'm some awful person all of a sudden because I'm pregnant. Because I've broken this mold of who they thought I was, and they're not comfortable with this.
It's so weird to like having a child young, I feel like, because the kid, like your friends and stuff at that age don't know how to properly support either, even if they have good intentions. I feel like, which sounds like most of these assholes didn't. With Destin too, like I was always like accepting and I wanted to support her and stuff, but like I didn't know what the right way to support someone was, I don't think, until I had my own kid.
Yeah. Well, and it's, again, we're all really, really young. And I think, you know, I had been judgmental of young parents before I became one as well. So it's not like some foreign concept. It just surprised me because I thought that growing up, people knew my character really well. And that's why I was well liked. And then when I had a child, it was like, well, where is all of this coming from? It's not like I've been this awful person this whole time. Like, I think I'm going to be a good parent. So it was really difficult. And then I actually went back in the archives for a specific Facebook message that I got when Cole was 6 months old. And this, I still don't know 100% who sent the message, but someone from our hometown made a fake Facebook page. They filled it with fake photos. They even friended other people. I have my instincts, and I'm pretty sure I know who the dumb bitch was. But I'm
pissed already.
I'll read you the message that I got. So, how does it feel to be another teenage, unmarried mom that had to get pregnant for her boyfriend to stay with her, or she just couldn't afford birth control, just like every other redneck front royal girl? So, you know what I did? I copied and pasted, and I posted it as a status on Facebook. And I said, I just received the following message from a girl whose name I've never even heard. And I pasted the text, and then I said, "Thanks for making me the center of your world, dumbass."
Yes.
And when they sent me that message and asked me how that felt, I replied with, "It feels great. Thanks for asking."
Yes.
But
What a badass.
I want to say that this community that kind of ostracized me also really had my back when I posted that.
Oh.
I'll never forget, one of my friend's dads sent me a message on Facebook after I posted that. And I don't remember all the words. I'm sure I could find it if I looked for it, but the sentiment was just kind of like, "We love you, we support you. This is a garbage human being." And that was pretty much the main sentiment of anybody. There was like 30 comments on this post. So I always just thought it was interesting. Like, I quietly left. I moved to another state. None of you have even ever seen me with my child before, and I'm still getting hate. And go ahead.
The small town just can't let it go.
Can't let it go. Can't let it go. And it just pissed people off that we weren't trash parents, that we were like actually doing well. Like, Sean was in paramedic school and like we were happy, and that just drove people crazy. And to this day, I'm just really thankful that I didn't raise my children in that environment. And honestly, I'm really proud of this part of my story because when that person sent me that message, I remember how unbothered I felt.
Yes.
And I'm not typically a super confident person. Stuff like that would normally like very much bother me. But I just remember thinking like, you can't make me feel bad. You can't make me feel like I've done something wrong, because I haven't. The most beautiful thing that I ever did was become Cole's mom. And I
You're
knew
getting
that
me all emotional.
Yeah, so I don't know why I felt compelled to share that story, but I think it's mostly because I still get comments. Actually, yesterday I took Cole to get a haircut for homecoming, and the girl cutting his hair has cut his hair a bunch of times. We've been going to the same place for years, and we're not on like the level of like where she necessarily remembers us like by name or anything, but she almost always says like, "Did you have him young?" In the beginning of the conversation. And I always think it's so interesting. It really bothers people. Like, I can see people try to do the math where I'm like, it's his first homecoming, and they're looking at me like, are you his sister? Are you his aunt? Like,
and you do look younger than you are too.
Yeah.
So it's like the math is probably even harder. But still, like, you never
I think it's
would
so
never
odd.
ask someone that.
Yeah. I've had some interesting encounters. So it's I share that because I know there's a lot of young moms out there that get like a lot of hate just simply for being a young mom. And it's so crazy because you can be like this person that literally everyone likes and is nice to, and then all you have to do is get pregnant and they're just like, we can't handle that version of you.
Okay. Yeah.
So
good on you though for like, I'm proud of you too. Like, making the decision that you know was right for your family, and just being able to like leave all that in the dust too at a time when you really didn't need that bullshit.
Yeah. Well, and it was really hard, not just like on a personal level, like friends, but it was a hard thing on my family as well. My sister had a child really young, and I think that's why my family had judgments about young parents, because that was a really tough experience, and it was really ugly at times, and I think they just didn't want that for me. But I always think it's interesting when I think back to that message, like, how does it feel to be another teenage unmarried mom? And I'm like,
it's the best thing I ever did.
Yeah. Eat a bag of dicks.
And a sack of dicks to you.
Yeah. Here you go.
Oh, I love that story. I know I've heard it before, but like I forgot how brutal the message was.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever actually read it to me. Like, you've told me the gist of it. But wow.
Yeah.
I went through so many emotions.
Really emotional. And I thought it was when I remember posting it just because I wanted that person to feel like an asshole. I didn't
Yeah.
expect people to come to my defense, especially after the experience that I had while I was pregnant.
Right.
So it did also kind of heal something for me because I had this sort of animosity towards my hometown, and it kind of gave me the ability to like look at the good parts of it again. Because, you know, not every single person was wishing me ill will, just that particular hater.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
Okay, so for who's a
No,
better
you go. Sorry.
we try so hard not to interrupt each other, and then that's when we do interrupt each other.
I know.
Okay, so for who's a better friend this week, we decided to talk about our favorite TV and movie genres. So, who did you say guesses first this week? I know you told me, but I wasn't
You
listening.
guess first.
Okay. Okay, so for number 1, I put reality.
You get 1 point.
Okay, so it's not in the right place, but it is on the list. Okay. Number 2, I put comedy.
Also 1 point.
Okay, and for 3, I feel like this one's wrong, drama.
Oh, yeah, that is wrong.
Okay,
so you got 2 points. Number 1, I had comedy.
Okay.
Number 2, sci-fi, which had to make the list because Doctor Who's my favorite.
I was thinking of Doctor Who, and I was like, where is this on the list, Amber? And it wasn't.
I guess it could fit into drama too, but
could it? I don't know.
Sci-fi, I think, is well, you should fix that. And then number 3, reality.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay, interesting. All right. So I got 2 points.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so for you, I have number 1, fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 points. I have number 2, reality.
No, that didn't make the list.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And then number 3, rom-com.
That also isn't on the list.
Dang.
But that's a good guess. Did we tie again?
We did.
That's funny. Okay, so the list goes 1, fantasy.
Okay.
My girl knows.
Thank God I got that one.
Number 2 is drama. Your girl loves a drama.
I should have gotten that. Okay.
I do like a rom-com, but I'm more so, I like a drama. I want the drama.
Yeah.
Okay. And number 3, I put comedy.
Damn, because I had comedy on here, and I just realized when I was saying them out loud that I forgot fantasy. So I added fantasy to the top, and comedy slid down. So I didn't. Okay.
That's so funny.
This is fine.
This is fine. Yeah, we tied again. So we're just both great friends. That's the synopsis.
Or equally bad.
Yeah, it just depends on if we're being positive or negative. I love it.
So for next week, we're thinking it was either favorite apps or favorite cereal.
And now that you've said that out loud, I feel like apps would be funnier. Or could be funnier. Like cereal could be interesting. We can save that for another time. I think I'm more intrigued by apps.
So tune in next week. Our Who's the Better Friend is going to be favorite apps, excluding streaming apps, because we'll really get into the weeds with that.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. So follow us on Instagram at Out of Touch, the letter P cast. Follow us on TikTok at Out of Touch Moments, and send us an email at outoftouchcast@gmail.com.
Boom.
Bye.